All right, guys, you're welcome right back to Africa Business Radio. And Racheal and Winston are still cruising you through a wonderful show and just easing you into the weekend. It's been super interesting already from the headlines, which, were really great today.
So we're having our second guest on the show this morning, Winston.
Absolutely. Joining us today for the second time. Oh, no, the second guest rather. Enogieru Osasenaga. Tell me I didn't murder your name.
Yep, you did actually.
He murdered it.
6 feet down. But you can call me Osas for short.
Osas for short. All right, great, fine. So we'll be talking accelerating digital economy in Africa. This is a very interesting one. So first, before we get into the questions, right, I want to just find out from your own perspective. I already have an idea, but the digital economy in Africa, how would you describe it? What is it and what state is it at right now in Africa?
Okay, I think to answer that, I'll speak first with regards to Nigeria. Now,
okay, fantastic.
Global.
Fantastic.
So Nigeria today, Nigeria is like the major news when it comes to tech ecosystem or the digital economy or any other news like in innovation space, as it were. What you've seen or what you would see is that a lot of global interest coming down to Nigeria, especially with the big news we're getting to see come out from the ecosystem. So Flutterwave, raising a very huge amount of money. What's the name of this other guy? Paystack last year being sold to Stripe.
Yes.
And just yesterday we heard they also got 25 million USD by the bank, the Kuda Bank. So it just shows you how much of an opportunity, how much opportunities actually exist in the ecosystem. So with regards to Nigeria, I would say yes, we are gathering everybody's attention. Think of it as we are that young lady who just realized that yes, all the guys in the school are actually looking at me. So all the investors are looking at Nigeria. And with the case being in Africa, what we see is that because of that, the other countries are actually stepping up. So Ghana is trying to match up. We have new ecosystem like those in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire, and several other countries, playing catch up as it were with Nigeria.
Fantastic.
Well, obviously, as you've said, a lot of eyes are turning to Nigeria. So we are seeing so many tech startups. The tech space is becoming really, really saturated now. Now, EdTech seems to be a niche to groom more tech talents. Tell us more about Gomycode in regards to this.
Okay, so the way I would explain Gomycode, I would start from a young boy's vision. So he built his first mobile video game at the age of 16. And when he did that, he moved over to San Francisco, then worked in Silicon Valley for a while. And at the age of 19, realized that he could actually build a business out of this. Now, what he saw was that he has been able to learn so much without actually going through the university. And he was able to build something very significant, create such a significant amount of jobs without actually walking through the four walls of the university.
Wow.
So it was like this light bulb moment of we can actually disrupt this system and all. And that's what Gomycode is actually here for. So Gomycode Global, I'm speaking for Gomycode Global. Gomycode Global is trying to change the narrative in the education system. So it takes about 4 or 5 years to actually get a university degree. And when you come out from the university system, you can't get the high-paying job you dreamt of. Your first pay does not equate to your expense, as it were. However, with Gomycode, in 4 months, 4 months, you can actually get the skills you need, digital skills you need to be relevant in this dispensation. On an annual basis, you have about 400k jobs. That's 400,000 jobs in Africa in the digital space. We do not have the talent to actually feed. So that tells you that there's a huge gap. And the universities are actually churning out more graduates, supposedly in the digital space. You have students from computer science and several other relevant, courses, but they cannot, move from the university into the job market to fit those jobs. There's that skill gap, and that's where Gomycode comes in. So how do we reskill? How do we upskill these persons who have gone through the 4 walls of a university to make them, fine-tuned for the digital space?
So Gomycode is a Netherlands startup.
Yes.
Why did you choose Lagos?
Right. That's a very interesting one. So Gomycode is initially it was based in Tunisia, but now it's headquarters in the Netherlands. Today we are in 7 African countries and we're expanding. We came into Lagos in January this year, so 3 months and counting. And the reason was very simple. First of all, by sheer factor of the fact that Lagos has a very vibrant youth population. When we're going into a new city, a new country, as it were, the first things we look at is the rate of unemployment in that particular city. Then we look at the youth population in that city. Then we look at the disposable income of that particular city as well.
Right.
And Lagos just fits that appropriate narrative. So when we're going to come into West Africa, Lagos ticked all the boxes.
All the boxes, yes.
Yeah, it ticked all the boxes. It is the most advanced startup ecosystem in West Africa, and so as a result, you see that there's a lot of skill gaps because the startups are coming up, but they need these skills. So you have people going to Ghana to get in talent. People are shipping talent all the way from Kenya into Nigeria to work in the startups. So the demand was really high for digital skills talent. Hence, we decided to birth in Lagos first.
Right. So now the ed tech space definitely will change the landscape in tech world, especially in Africa.
Absolutely.
Though. And Africa, like you said, Africa is catching up. A lot more countries are getting on board.
Yep.
But then another very important thing that you said is a lot of people have eyes on Nigeria, and that's great stuff. But however, what do you think this would take the continent to in like 5 years with everything happening right now?
Okay, I would say, to answer that question, I would say let's take it 5 years back.
Okay.
So let's know where we're coming from so we know where we're going to. So 5 years ago, the EdTech system was actually nonsense. There was very little, innovations in the EdTech system. Today, the most significant EdTech startup in Nigeria is the ULesson. And ULesson came in and it disrupted the market in the sense that they did that with a product that was actually needed. And the thing is, you need to understand the way the education system in Nigeria works before you can actually disrupt it.
Right.
The education system in Nigeria is really tight, close-knitted, so it's difficult to disrupt. It's a very big ship. And it's, you know how difficult it is to steer a ship in the water. It takes a lot of effort and time. You get, it's been decades of building, and so you want to disrupt. It's very difficult. So those highly sophisticated sectors are usually very difficult. So you need a lot of funds. You need a lot of guts to actually do such. So when ULesson comes in, they came in with the arsenal of about 3 million USD. So that was very good money to enter into the market. And COVID-19 hit, and COVID-19 was just the perfect. Apologies to those who caught the virus and everything, but COVID-19 was just the perfect reasons for us to actually exactly. It was just the right environment, the cocoon that we needed to actually disrupt the education sector because the schools were closed down. The traditional education system was actually shut down, and so it's given an opportunity for EdTech to actually
thrive,
disrupt the market. And so going forward, where are we looking at? So what we've seen is a lot of persons are actually now adopting the idea of, okay, let's learn from home. And so EdTech is actually boarding. So we have a lot of solutions coming up in the EdTech industry. Going forward in the next couple of years, in the next 5 years, where I see EdTech going is largely around let's actually build a system such that it is universally accepted or globally accepted. I do not have to go into a university system, not replacing the university system, but I can actually
also having a viable online option
exactly. So I don't have to go through the conventional methods of education because the conventional method of education literally teach you to toe the line of the professional courses of the 20th century. Go study medicine, go study architecture and all of that. But we have jobs of the future and we need to actually train people for those jobs in the future. The curriculum in university system, current university system does not actually support the jobs of the future. So we need a new player, a new set of players rather, a new visa to actually prepare the youth for the jobs of the future. And that's where I see the EdTech ecosystem actually flourishing.
Fantastically said, man. Couldn't have been worded any better. Now with Gomycode, and I know with the way you sound, I'm sure you're very futuristic and there's plans already. But what other markets are we looking at, especially in Africa? So let's talk about Africa now, because Africa needs to just development. Like I keep saying stuff, we need to do our things. Especially if we want respect from the Western world or even Asia. Look at what China is doing. And if we're going to stop all of this neo-colonialism that's happening right now, we need to be strong, especially tech-wise. So Lagos is looking good. Lagos ticked all the boxes. But what other markets in Africa are you looking at also, especially because we need to harness the African market? That's something that we need to do. So what other markets are you looking at in Africa going forward?
Again, I would always draw that background before I give you a response. So, we started from Lagos, and the Gomycode model is such that you should have a, hacker space. We call our facilities hacker space as close as possible to you. So the goal is actually to scale. We just have one hacker space in Lagos at the moment, but before the end of the year, we're looking towards opening more hacker spaces. So if you're in the mainland, you can actually visit a hacker space very close to you. If you're on the island, if you're in Lekki, anywhere you are, you can actually just walk in and actually learn. Think of it like your neighborhood library in those days. Think of it exactly. So that's what we're looking towards doing. So, but we start from Lagos, we go over to other cities in Nigeria. But while we're doing that in Nigeria, we're also expanding to other countries. As we speak, we're opening shop in Côte d'Ivoire, Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. The Western corridor. So once you really harness that Western corridor. So Côte d'Ivoire is setting up. They should be going live by next month or in a month or two actually. Ghana is in the works. We're also looking at setting up in Ghana, Kenya as well. Then when we're done with the Western corridor, we'll go to the Eastern corridor. So East Africa. So looking at Tanzania, Kenya, Kigali, and some other countries. So the opportunity is actually quite. It's very big. We have a very wide opportunity to actually grow. And I will speak to the fact that one of the most abundant resource in Africa is the youth population. We have a very large youth population, and so if you're going to actually harness the talent from this particular resource, it makes sense to actually put them in the mix of whatever is going to happen in the next 10 years or in the next 15 years. And so that's what we're targeting. Gomycode had to prepare the youth, the Nigerian or the African youth population to be at the forefront when it comes to global innovation and advancement.
Right. All right. So EdTech is in Lagos.
Yes.
How can interested persons participate?
Okay. It's as simple as going to the website, gomycode.co, gomycode.co. You have a list of programs. So we're unpacking our programs in phases. The programs are coming based on the fact that the needs in the market at the moment are tilted towards some certain career path. But we have a bunch of programs you can actually put in for. So you go to, again, Gomycode, Gomycode, gomycode.co, and you select the list of programs from data science to as simple as digital marketing, but from data science to digital marketing to full stack development, front end, back end, artificial intelligence, and even some more deep tech and stuff like that. So you can select any of the programs that you see fit for your schedule. We also factor in the fact that a lot of persons actually have day jobs or are going through school, and again, we're not replacing anything. We're actually complementing. At the end of the day, so you can actually do this while combining it to your normal day-to-day. So the programs are very, very flexible. We have the online option, but a lot of persons are opting for the physical options because you need a hand. You need the hand holding by your instructor, and the platform is actually easy to use. It's gamified, so you can actually see your progress and you can rank it across with your peers. Now the beautiful thing is what you're learning in Nigeria is the same thing your counterparts are learning in Tunisia. So you can actually match your skill set with those persons in Egypt, in Algeria, in Morocco, and every other country that Comycode is actually existing. So you're not just competing. The Nigerian, the school system we went to was compete with your peers in Nigeria within your classroom. So who takes the first position, who takes the second position. But in this case, you're actually being assessed using a global standard, because now you're saying, okay, yes, I'm in data sciences, and this is the level of my skill set. This is where this is the level I am up to in my experience and all. But then you have someone in Tunisia you can actually compare with. So when you come out and say, yes, I'm actually a well certified trained data scientist or a full stack developer, you can actually say, okay, yes, I can actually compete with the counterparts in Egypt, Tunisia, and several other countries.
So this thing you just said now just made another question pop up in my head. Now, especially in line with carrying the youth along, the large youth population, and we need it. Like you also said, they're new jobs, 21st century jobs.
Absolutely.
Like, so I remember when somebody was saying something, how a lot of parents still can't, or even older people in the government still can't reconcile when you say young people are home working remotely and they have this job, they have jobs. Like, what are you doing? Go wake up and go to the office. I want to see you go to work. And you don't even know that they're raking in so much money as a content writer, as a digital marketer, all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now, would you be looking at partnering with schools?
Right.
Because that would also drastically have this get to the people who want to get, and also just, I mean, apart from a lot of us who know these things, a lot of young people also need to have their eyes open.
Yeah.
And then we also need to do this reorientation for the authorities, the school authorities. Let them understand that, hey, things have changed. Yes, your notebook from 1970 is fantastic. However, there are new things that we need to learn. So would you guys be looking at, getting schools on board so that you can reach more people and maybe have some schools who are liberal enough to,
to absorb.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's actually funny you speak to the fact that, the old method of doing things, because that's the reality. COVID-19, like I said, actually opened our eyes to so many possibilities.
Yes.
During the COVID period, we saw a lot of influx of employers into the Nigerian market, because they saw that there was actually a vast potential in the Nigerian market. So we have a lot of persons working remotely and all that.
Absolutely.
You get. But the narrative, it does not sit well with the older population or the older generation
at all.
And when you look at this, the main reason is because we're resistant to change. Humans are actually very resistant to change. So we will fight anything that disrupts the norm, basically. So absolutely, yes, we're working with schools. Long term, not even long term, short to mid-term, we're even looking at setting up hacker spaces in universities.
Great.
Nailed it.
As close as possible to the students, so we can actually complement, not compete. So we can actually complement. So integrating our programs into the curriculum of the schools and all. The challenges that we would have to surmount, or the challenges we have, the Goliaths we have to slay on the way. Issues around policy, it's a 100 years old curriculum, or 50 years old curriculum, as the case may be. So the system is really, really strong. It's rigid. It's very difficult to disrupt and all. And
then you obviously encounter bottlenecks and stuff.
There's a lot of red tape, bureaucracy. Exactly. There's just so much you need to do and all. But what we would most likely do, the avenue we're looking to adopt is basically work with the schools who are more liberal. You see that a lot with private schools.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
Exactly. So we also have some federal schools who are more liberal. But this time around, we'll most likely be working with the particular department, specific departments to complement. To complement at the end of the day. So absolutely, short term, mid term, we're working with universities.
Okay, fantastic stuff. Guys, we have been talking to Osas on a very interesting topic, accelerating digital economy in Africa, and then we have touched on a lot within a short period of time, actually. And I must say that you know what you're doing. I know that. I must say that, and it's great stuff, Tress. If for anything, people who follow me on social media know that I like to talk about how young Nigerians should harness their power,
absolutely,
their education, all of that stuff. Same for Africans, and if we do that, we can make the continent a lot better, and a lot of the things we deal with, we won't have to deal with anymore. So thank you once again for coming.
Thank you so much for being here. Stay with us.
Stay here.